Marcus Hayes had worked at Harrington Corp for exactly 9 years, 3 months, and 12 days. Not once. Not for illness, not for personal emergencies, not even during the winter his heating broke and the pipes froze, had he called in absent. He arrived before the cleaning crew, left after the security guards, and in all those years had never once complained. If you believe in the power of loyalty, in second chances, and in the way small moments can quietly change everything, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? His desk sat in the corner of the open floor plan, steady and constant, like a foundation the whole office rested on without ever realizing it. He was the guy who fixed the system crash at 2 a.m. without being asked, who walked every new hire through their first weeks with patience and genuine warmth, who remembered every colleague's birthday and left a simple card without ever expecting one in return. What none of them knew was that Marcus went home each night to a small apartment where he was raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, completely on his own. Her mother had passed away when Lily was just a year old, and Marcus had carried that grief quietly, privately, while the world around him kept moving. He never brought it up. He never let it show. He simply worked. On a cold Tuesday morning, Marcus knocked on the office door of CEO Diana Harrington, a sharp, driven woman who had taken over her father's company and built it into something formidable. She was known for her high standards, her precision, and her firm belief that exceptions led to weakness. Marcus stood at her door with a humble kind of courage and asked, with quiet dignity, for a single day off on Friday. Lily's school was holding its annual Father-Daughter Day, and in 8 years, he had never once been able to go. Diana didn't look up from her screen for the first 15 seconds. When she finally did, her expression gave nothing away. She asked whether he had filed the formal leave request. He told her he had a week ago. She said the department was short-staffed that week. She said the timing wasn't ideal. She said she had to make hard calls for the good of the company. Then she told him she was letting him go. The words hit like a stone dropped into still water. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He didn't argue or plead. He simply nodded, thanked her for 9 years of opportunity, and walked back to his desk with the same steady dignity he'd carried in. He packed a small box, shook the hands of his colleagues, who stood watching in stunned silence, and walked out the door. That Friday, he took Lily to her Father-Daughter Day. He watched her face absolutely light up the moment she spotted him walking through those gymnasium doors, and he made a quiet decision right then and there. It was worth every cost. That same Friday evening, Diana's father, billionaire Edmund Harrington, called and asked her to join him for dinner at Rosario's, the most exclusive restaurant in the city. She arrived composed, as always, still mentally reviewing the week's decisions with the quiet confidence of someone who believed they had acted correctly. She was led to her father's table, and there, sitting across from Edmund, laughing warmly at something he had just said, was Marcus Hayes. Diana stopped mid-step. The room felt like it shifted beneath her. Edmund stood and smiled, motioning to the open seat beside him. He explained calmly and without fanfare that Marcus was an old friend. More than that, actually. 20 years ago, when Edmund's company was teetering on the edge of collapse and every bank had turned its back on him, it was Marcus's father who had quietly invested his entire life savings to keep it alive. Edmund had never forgotten it. He had watched Marcus from a distance for years, knowing the young man had no idea about any of it, respecting his privacy and his pride far too much to step in. He had been waiting to see what Marcus would build on his own. Diana sat down slowly. The waiter filled the glasses. No one said a word. Then Edmund looked at his daughter and asked, quietly but directly, why Marcus no longer worked at her company. The silence that followed was the loudest thing Diana had ever experienced. Later that night, long after dinner had ended, after Marcus had embraced Edmund like family and gone home to tuck Lily in, Diana sat alone in her car in the parking garage and stared at her hands. She wasn't thinking about business consequences. She was thinking about 9 years of loyalty she had dismissed in 4 minutes. She was thinking about a little girl whose father had asked for just one day. She was thinking about the kind of leader she had become without ever stopping to notice. She called Marcus the next morning. She didn't offer him his job back wrapped in conditions or fine print. She offered it back with an apology, plain, direct, and genuinely human. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, yes. He was back at his desk the following Monday. That same week, Diana rewrote the department leave policy, making sure no parent would ever have to make that kind of choice again. Some lessons come from textbooks and leadership seminars. Others walk through a restaurant door on a Friday night, in the form of a man who never raised his voice and never stopped showing up. If the story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories, because stories like Marcus's deserve to be heard.